Have you ever wondered how you would react in a life-altering situation? Would you stand your ground or choose to retreat? You might think that it's impossible to predict, but in reality, our bodies have a built-in mechanism that guides us in these moments. This is the fight or flight response, an instinctive reaction that prepares us to either confront danger head-on or to flee from it. The fight or flight response is a fascinating aspect of human psychology, which has its roots in our evolutionary past. When our ancestors faced threats like wild animals or enemy tribes, their bodies would flood with adrenaline, sharpening their senses, quickening their reflexes, and preparing them for immediate action. This response is not a conscious decision, but an instinctive one, triggered by perceived danger. In our modern world, we might not encounter wild beasts on a daily basis, but this primal reaction hasn't gone away. It kicks in during stressful situations, be it a challenging work presentation, a heated argument, or even when we watch a thrilling movie. But what's more interesting is that this fight or flight reaction isn't confined to physical threats. It can also be triggered by psychological and emotional challenges. The decision to confront or avoid a difficult conversation, the choice to take a risk or play it safe, even the urge to speak up or stay silent in a group setting. All these can activate our fight or flight response. Now, imagine being in the shoes of history's greatest figures, making split-second decisions that could change the world. Believe it or not, the fight or flight response has influenced some of the most pivotal moments in history. From Julius Caesar's crossing of the Rubicon to Rosa Parks' refusal to give up her seat on a bus, this instinctive reaction has shaped the course of human events in profound ways. Now that we've understood the fight or flight phenomenon, it's time to step into the shoes of some of history's greatest figures. Stick around to discover how this primal instinct influenced their decisions, leading to outcomes that have left an indelible mark on the pages of history. Picture Julius Caesar standing at the banks of the Rubicon River, a decision hanging in the balance. It's 49 BC, and Caesar, a military general then, is about to make a choice that will echo through the annals of time. He's at the precipice of a decision that will either consolidate his power or lead to his ruin. Before him, the Rubicon River, a point of no return. In Roman law, generals were strictly forbidden from crossing this river with their armies, a safety measure to prevent military coups. But Caesar, he's contemplating doing just that. The Senate, threatened by his popularity, had ordered him to disband his army and return to Rome. But to return without his army is to walk into the lion's den. His mind races. The fight or flight response kicks in. It's a primal instinct, hardwired into our brains, a survival mechanism honed over millions of years of evolution. He could retreat, comply with the Senate's orders, disband his army, and face the political machinations of Rome unprotected. That's flight. But Caesar, he's not a man to back down easily. He weighs his options, the potential outcomes, the risks involved. He's not just deciding for himself, but for his men, for Rome, for the future of an empire. The stakes are higher than ever. In this moment, Caesar embodies the fight response. He steps forward, declaring, "Alea iacta est," the die is cast. He crosses the Rubicon, a clear act of insubordination, a declaration of war against the Senate. It's a bold, daring move, a fight response against the threat of political oblivion. This decision sets in motion a civil war, leading to Caesar's emergence as the dictator of Rome, forever changing the Roman Republic into the Roman Empire. His choice at the Rubicon River wasn't just a personal decision, but a historic moment that shaped the trajectory of Western civilization. Caesar chose to fight, altering the course of history forever. Now imagine being Cleopatra, a queen known for her strategic mind and wit. Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt, a woman whose name still resonates through the annals of history. She was not just a ruler, but a tactician, a strategist, playing the Game of Thrones long before it was a popular television series. This astute queen was no stranger to the fight or flight response. Her life was a high-stakes game of chess, and she was the queen, the most powerful piece on the board. She knew when to make her move and when to retreat, when to fight and when to take flight. Consider her alliance with Julius Caesar, a calculated move that was a definite fight response. She didn't shy away from aligning herself with one of the most powerful men of her time. Rather, she chose to meet him head-on, to engage in a partnership that would fortify her position and strengthen her reign. But Cleopatra was not all fight. When the situation called for it, she knew how to retreat strategically. Take, for instance, the famous tale of her escape in a rug. This was a perfect example of the flight response. She was facing capture, possibly death, and she chose to flee, to live to fight another day. But even in flight, she was not defeated. She used her wit, her cunning, and yes, a large rug, to make her escape and ensure her survival. Cleopatra's life was a delicate dance between fight and flight. She knew when to stand her ground and when to step back, when to confront and when to evade. She was a queen who understood the power of choice, the strength in decision-making and the importance of timing. Cleopatra, a queen who knew when to fight and when to flee, remained a formidable force in history. Her strategic oscillation between these two instinctual responses serves as a testament to her intelligence, her resilience, and her unparalleled ability to adapt and survive. Cleopatra's story reminds us that sometimes the choice to fight or to flee is not a question of courage, but of strategy. In the world of invention, choosing flight doesn't always mean defeat. Meet Nikola Tesla, an enigmatic figure. Tesla's story is one of silent innovation and dogged pursuit of scientific advancements. He was a man who dared to dream of a world powered by electricity, and his genius painted the blueprint for the future. Tesla is often overshadowed by his contemporary, Thomas Edison, in the annals of history. Yet, he chose not to engage in a public spectacle of rivalry. Instead, he selected flight, retreating away from the limelight to immerse himself in his work, his laboratory serving as his sanctuary. But don't mistake this flight for surrender. It was a strategic retreat, a conscious choice that allowed him the freedom to experiment, to test, and to create. His contributions to the world of electricity were nothing short of revolutionary. He dreamed up and built the alternating current system, the very backbone of modern power distribution. He saw the potential of harnessing Niagara Falls power, a vision that resulted in one of the world's first large-scale hydroelectric power plants. But Tesla's genius didn't stop at electricity. He ventured into the realm of wireless communication, laying the groundwork for innovations that would later shape the 21st century. He dreamed of a world connected wirelessly, a vision that resonates with our current reality of smartphones, Wi-Fi, and satellite communications. Tesla's flight was not an escape, but a silent revolution. By choosing to retreat, he could focus on his work, undeterred by public scrutiny or the need for acclaim. This allowed him to make leaps and bounds in his scientific endeavors, creating a legacy that continues to influence our modern world. So remember, flight can also be a path to victory. Tesla chose flight, retreating into the shadows to illuminate the world with his groundbreaking innovations. In the face of injustice, one woman's decision to fight sparked a revolution. Enter Rosa Parks. On a cold December evening in 1955, in Montgomery, Alabama, Rosa Parks, an African-American seamstress, boarded a city bus to return home after a long day's work. Little did she know that her journey would become a significant milestone in history. As the bus filled up, the driver asked Parks to give up her seat for a white passenger. This was not an unusual demand in the deeply segregated South, but that day, Rosa Parks decided to resist. Her refusal was not a spontaneous act of defiance, but a calculated decision to fight. It was a choice that stemmed from a deep-rooted sense of injustice and a determination to demand respect and equality. Her quiet but firm no was heard across the nation, igniting the Montgomery bus boycott, a 13-month mass protest that ended with the Supreme Court ruling segregation on public buses unconstitutional. This single act of defiance became a defining moment in the civil rights movement, propelling the fight for racial equality into the national and global consciousness. Rosa Parks' decision was a profound fight response, a refusal to flee in the face of unjust societal norms. It was a fight not just for her own dignity, but for the dignity and rights of all African Americans. In the face of danger, she chose to stand her ground, to challenge the status quo, and to incite change. Her fight response was not just a reaction to an immediate threat, but a strategic act of resistance against systemic oppression. Rosa Parks' courage and her decision to fight rather than flee transformed a simple bus ride into a journey towards equality and justice. Rosa Parks chose to fight, sparking a revolution that would change the world. Her story is a testament to the power of the fight response, demonstrating how a single decision can have far-reaching implications, altering the course of history and shifting societal paradigms. In the end, the fight-or-flight response is not just about survival, but also about choices, courage, and the will to effect change.